least by the time I showed up, the terrace was a
Yeah.
pretty classy joint. Wouldn't expect people to frolic there. Though at the same time, I ate there as an 8-year-old, so I don't know how classy it was.
I don't know how to stop that from playing and delay. Oh, no.
Is that part of Zoom?
Yes. Something about in the corner of the wow. So what happened? Which one's the browser?
It'll exit out the whole thing.
Is this?
No, it's the one with that you're in, like with the YouTube in it. Yeah, what's the other one behind it? Not that one. What's that one?
Sure.
What is that one? YouTube in it. Is it still? Did you close it and it's still doing it? Oh, you had some options if you roll over like what about those things? Try that mute thing. See over by live. Can you mute it? That guy right there.
If I mute it, then they're not gonna be able.
Oh, they can't hear it? Oh, that's no bueno. You better turn it back on. Can we unplug this? This one? Oh, shoot.
You have to turn it off and do it again.
Is it Zoom that you need to close?
Oh,
I see.
I turn it off, then it won't play off. And I have to just to get it to come up right.
Um,
It is live stream.
you want to stop it? Or no?
It seems to be okay now, and it's recording the audio.
Oh,
So
perfect.
let me try to get participants in. Hold on. Looking for.
What if you click that one that says panelist? Like, see that other one?
That's me.
Oh, I see.
Is the door open or should we go and see if she's in person?
The door's open.
Okay. Thank you.
So we can wait until 15, but there's no one coming in.
Oh, no.
Oh, so
Okay.
Is the door open?
yes, the door's open.
Is Christina coming?
She said that she would either be here or on Zoom, and there's no
Oh.
one on Zoom.
She might be having trouble getting in. I have a hard time making it work.
Yeah.
She usually is. We'll just wait silently for, I don't know, 5 more
For
minutes.
a while.
And if she doesn't come in,
Now, I haven't met you.
I'm new planner, Catherine Rupert. Nice to
Oh,
meet you.
okay. So I kind of assumed you were in the city, but I
Yeah.
didn't know.
Okay.
We got a new member, Escondido or,
Amelia Escobedo,
Mhm.
she's only been on Zoom one time.
okay.
She's
And
never
I haven't
attended.
seen her, so I don't.
Well,
In our,
Here comes the
Yeah,
door.
sounds like someone coming in.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I wrote
You're good.
you.
We needed a minute to be functional, so all good.
Yeah, I tried to get in on the phone and Zoom and they both said it's invalid meeting ID. And no such meeting number exists or something like that. So we did try to get it. 'Cause I knew I was gonna be just a few minutes late in the car.
Okay, thank you for letting me know and I'll look into that.
Yeah.
Because I'm in Zoom right now and it's up and working.
Well, we use the link and the numbers from the current agenda, and this has happened before, that it doesn't
Okay.
work. Because it's invalid.
Does that mean that Angie's not on?
Right.
Okay.
Okay. We can still hold the meeting, do the best that we can.
Okay.
we got a quorum now.
Yes, you have a form.
Yeah. We
You
got
ready to
30,
go?
We're good.
Yeah. Hold on just a moment.
Okay.
I will.
Should I try and reach Angie by phone?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, let me see if I can. Real quick. Okay. You don't happen to have a phone, like a word or something with her number on it? I can run upstairs. I think I have it.
Okay.
Oh, actually, it doesn't have it first. You're right back. There's something over here.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
I got plenty of problems, so.
Oh, well, I was gonna be perfect, I had to run somewhere at the last minute, so.
Okay.
We're getting there.
There's cell phone.
Thank you.
Didn't see that one. That's Lakeview also.
Yeah. Actually, still had that building too, and the car.
But it's a service station and an auto camp.
Hi Angie, this is Catherine. Are you able to join the Zoom? Oh,
Oh, exactly.
she can't log in on Zoom. Can I just put her on speaker?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I just put you on speaker real quick?
Sure thing.
Okay, there you are.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Oh,
Okay, you can go ahead and
ready?
call it to order.
I'll call the meeting to order tonight. Roll call, start with.
Yes. Beth Campbell.
Here.
Christina Minetti. Amelia Escobedo is absent. Glenn Spieth,
Here.
you have quorum.
Good. Is there any changes to the agenda tonight?
Are there any changes to the agenda?
I do not think so.
Hearing none, we will go to approval of minutes from October 26th, almost a year ago. I read them.
Read them quite a long time.
Um,
I read them quite a long time ago.
yeah,
Can I just take a look?
sure. I had some comments on it. The reports by the preservation officer. And, that's Jennifer Charette. I brought in an extra article for her. This is about Mike Avey, and it's his collection that went to the Burke Museum. He not only collected things at Fort Steilacoom that we don't have a list of or any information on, but all around Lakewood. So there's a lot of old historic things that have been dug up through the years, went to the Burke Museum, and were never heard from again. So I don't know how to access it, but apparently Jennifer Schreck can. But she was working on an inventory. What I'd like to do is get an inventory of the 62 boxes that were sent from Pierce College to the Burke Museum. And I don't know the exact date, but I know that I tracked them down through John Simpson, who was a council member. He was a professor at Pierce College. And he found out what happened to him and the information, but I don't remember what year the transfer was done. Other than, went to the Burke Museum. Now, the whole intent that I'm thinking of is to get an inventory to eventually get items of historical significance to Lakewood back in a local museum, the Lakewood Museum, so that they can be seen instead of in a drawer or still left in storage.
Chair,
There are things, Ellen McGovern's house on 75th.
can I mention something, Chair?
Yeah.
At this time, we're supposed to be approving the
Oh,
minutes, so we
well,
need to
this was
stay
part
on
of-
track.
this is adjunct to the reports
Yeah.
in the,
Is there anything that we need to change though?
we can go ahead and get the minutes approved. Anybody have any changes they want to make to the minutes? I don't.
I didn't see anything that was
All
like
those in
incorrect.
favor of,
There
Approving
hasn't been
the
a
minutes?
motion.
I'll move that we accept the minutes as they are from October 26th.
I'll second. Do I need to second that?
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Now
all
you
those
can
in
do your
favor
thing.
say aye.
I,
So the minutes are approved.
Thank you.
Minutes are taken care of. Next on the
introduce.
list. Oh, here we go. Any announcements?
No,
We're introducing.
Introduction of associate planner.
well, that was Billy.
Oh, we'll introduce you to, hi.
Nice to re-meet some of you and to meet you.
We have no public.
Do you have any announcements?
No, not I.
There is no public here tonight, so apparently there's no public comments. We don't have a public hearing. Reports by the Historic Preservation Officer. That would be something from Jennifer, whoever's the local preservation officer. I assume that's probably gonna be you, or
Okay.
do you know?
I can get that information for you,
Okay.
but I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay.
It depends on what kind of project we've got going.
Can I interject? Can you all hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Go right ahead.
This is Angie Silva, Assistant Director for Planning and Public Works. Nice to see you all. I am watching you all on YouTube, and similar to Miss Nettie, I could not log in on Zoom as well. But I think that agenda topic was referring to myself. I think last meeting for the month of July, while we didn't have quorum, we did have 2 members in attendance. So provided an update on our 2024 grant application grant award from Pierce County as it relates to historic markers. So part of last month, we provided a status update that per our executed grant award, we are supposed to provide a progress report to Pierce County by August 16th. That was completed in time. In addition to that, our grant also requires us to complete work. Bear with me here.
I sent in a email about the difficulties that I was having in producing the new historic markers. The computer at the museum has been down since it was stolen, and a week after we opened, we lost all the computer equipment and software went with it. My computer has been down for 6 months or more. I had to have the hard drive replaced. So all the application software that I had that I continually used was gone. I haven't been able to get my computer to work. Right now I'm using an iPad, and that's not really any good for what I used to go through, because I have everything on thumb drives. All the previous information and so forth. So I suggested if you're able to delay the grant to next year, or we do have 3 historic markers right now that are awaiting rocks, which the city was going to provide by way of the Parks Department, I believe, or the city apparently has rocks stored away or can get rocks. I can mount the markers providing I've got power to drill the rocks, but I don't have any way to move them myself. And previous markers, that's always been a problem because we either had to hire an outfit or find somebody that would donate the equipment and the time to move them. So I know right now I'm physically shut down for trying to write up markers. We can move existing markers. We got 2 in the museum that don't have rocks, and we've got 1 that's still in my car. And this is an example of the, that was one that was supposed to be on the marker that's in my car. However, the manufacturer came up with a different oval. So the stainless steel enameled, fired enameled marker won't fit in the hole, and this was what they provided, which isn't that great, I don't think, and that does have a seal on the outside, but that can be usable.
Mr. Chair, to go back to your comments of whether we can extend the timeline. So part of our interactions with Pierce County is part of our required status report is included. We are delayed in executing and concerns whether or not we would meet the December 2024 deadline to seek reimbursement and complete our work. The county is open to extending a one-time 6-month extension into 2025, as well as I broached with them under our current contract provisions. This is a cash match grant. What I broached to them is could also, as part of this contract amendment, we instead doing a cash match, do a in-kind match through volunteer hours, supplies such as the rocks, and labor, for example. Going to your question with the parks, yes, we have been engaged with the Parks Department. The department director is actively looking for rocks to serve this purpose. I haven't heard an update from them on whether or not they have found the rocks that we need, but they are on the lookout for 2 to 3. And I'm under the impression in talking with them, they would also help with the moving and installation piece. With that said, part of the markers that we did get approved, we have to be specific on what the scope of our project was. So the historic markers, we identified 3 possible locations. So that was the Lakewood train station, Chinese Expo station, as well as the Lakeview post office site as 3 potential locations. We also noted that we would install 2 up to 3 markers within the estimated budget costs. In addition to, there are minimum standards for those markers, which have to also include Pierce County logo as they are part of the funding to install these as well. So going back to the question, when we have existing markers in place, or existing markers, do they have the county logo on them?
Those that were funded through this is the last one that was installed, Woodbrook Hunt Club, and we've got the Pierce County mark, the Pierce County logo, Lakewood
And Lakewood
Historical
City.
Society and city logo.
Very good.
And the Bird School, which I have the plaque in my car, historic marker in the car, and I've got the photos associated with it right here, but I'm missing a rock to get this mounted on and installed, and it also has all three logos.
Mr. Chair, if you could provide a copy of that image to staff, that would be very helpful as we work with Pierce County on a potential contract amendment.
Okay,
In addition, sir, I know you mentioned you've had some computer troubles and many apologies for that. Did you happen to reach out and get a revised estimate as well? Because I think our original grant application had an estimate from 2022. And we wanted to know if what we originally assumed in the costs were grossly underestimated as time has gone on.
yeah, I had sent the last information I got from Tacoma Trophy. And that was the estimate that they had just gotten. However, we did not have a draft to send, you know, showing exactly what we wanted. But that was information on what was done before on a typical plaque that was, I think the Hunt Club and the Bird Cemetery were both markers that were done through the Tacoma Trophy process. And they were about $1,300 a piece. We had problems with the photos because the outline that they cast in for pictures was slightly smaller than what our porcelain pictures were. As a consequence, the photos didn't work. So that was one complication at the time. You want to make some copies before the
Yeah,
meeting is over, because I can give you
I can run
these
upstairs and
things.
make
This
some copies.
is a list of historical markers that are completed except Thornwood. I had it mounted on a rock, but nobody could move the rock. And let's see, what's the other one? House of Donuts. We have the marker done for it. However, the owner of the House of Donuts cannot decide where to put it. He doesn't want to put it close to the road because cars are going to hit it. He doesn't want it out in front of the place.
On the building,
But
That's a good idea.
on the building.
well, he thought of that too, but he couldn't decide where he wanted it because the whole front is glass. And then the sides, if you go around through the drive-through, it can be mounted on the side of the building. But he can't come to a solution on that. I have a complete set of photos of all the different markers throughout Lakewood. I've lost track of the count, but I think it's about 22, maybe 24. And other than, what's that?
No, sorry, sir. Please continue.
Okay, most of these markers, well, all of the markers I wrote, I did get help in getting them proofread. I got the photos, I got the casting done. I'm kind of a one-man show and I'm slowing down. I would like to get other assistance with some of this. The historic information is getting harder and harder to obtain. For example, the Lakeview train station. I found a couple of reasonably good photos in the last few months. But text is difficult to come by. I can't find any books, any historical records that give me a date when the train station was erected. I know roughly when it was torn down. I know pretty close to where it was. Both the train station, Chinese expulsion, which I've written a draft on, but I don't have any photos of. The Chinese expulsion is somewhat touchy, so you got to be careful how it's worded and so forth. No photos were taken from what I know of. There are drawings from the newspaper, just the generic Chinese waiting in the weather. The other, the post office. I would like to find the 1875 post office, which is where Lakeview Post Office started. I remember the last post office is now replaced by a huge number of apartments. It was in a house across from the Lakeview train station. The Lakeview train station was used also for the expulsion of the Chinese. So all three of those historic markers related to the Lakeview area right in the vicinity of the train station. I do have a write-up for the Chinese expulsion, but barring not getting a picture, it could be a text-only historic marker without a photo.
If you have, sir, any write-ups for potential markers, please also share that with staff, and we're happy to facilitate getting some potential markers made, but also doing some additional research assistance to find some images to share with this group, if that is helpful.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. I can bring them over and I'll have them addressed to you.
That works, or either Karen or Catherine in the room as well.
Okay. Well, I did a draft for the Chinese expulsion based on a early newspaper article. Obviously, the newspaper article was so long that it has to be.
Do we have any from the board members write-ups for potentially the train station or the Lakeview post office as well?
Lakeview Post Office, I have not found a location for the original 1874 post office. I know that's when it got established. It was probably as a part of a store there in Lakeview. However, I can't find any information on what store, location, etc.
Are there other board members that may have information to provide context for our grant deliverable?
No one is more knowledgeable than Glenn, so. but we can
I,
look for some stuff.
you know, things can be found in the northwest room at the Tacoma Library. However, having done that a number of times, it takes a long time. I've tried to do it by looking online, and they either have no record or they don't know anywhere near enough to find it. Most of their photos and histories are in folders, and they don't really have online access to what's in the folders. Or even titles of what those folders are. So it takes some research at the library.
For context, Mr. Chair, for myself, when we originally went after the grant with Pierce County and we picked these locations for markers, none of the research or the preparation was kind of already coalesced, for example.
Yeah,
Is that correct? Okay.
yeah.
And the reason why I
Well,
asked,
I know where the markers should be, and it's probably still within the right of way of Lakeview Boulevard Road. As close as I could get to where the train station was, which is right across the street from where the post office was, in a house, the last post office. The train station was also the site of the 1880s Chinese expulsion activity.
yep.
But beyond that, I'm hitting a brick wall.
And the reason why I'm concerned, because our grant is very specific, kind of like, part of our scope of work and what we were hoping to accomplish. But if we still need to take time to do the research for images as well as what the write-up is, even if we got granted an extension of time, I don't know if that's enough time to deliver. So I just want to be straightforward with not only our grantor, so it doesn't limit our chances for future grant opportunities with the county, but also what we can reasonably achieve with the board, but also the resources we have. So that's the reason why I brought it up, and whether or not, if I'm seeking an extension to the contract, be going to achieve it, even if we got the extension of the contract, I guess, is what I'm hoping to have a conversation about.
What specifically do we need?
We have to deliver 2 to 3 markers for the Lakewood train station, Chinese expulsion site, and if possible, with the funds available at the Lakeview post office site. That's what the city, to my understanding, through coordination with this body, sought out grants funding to help support that. We were awarded, but it is a matching grant, meaning the county will provide a little over $2,500 to support this effort, but we also, through documentation, have to provide a one-to-one match. Our current contract requires a cash match, but we could work through an amendment to change that to in-kind volunteer hours or supplies, for example, as well as labor. So we have some flexibility there, but I'm just questioning, when we originally went out to this, there was an assumption that we were able to complete it, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so then that's what I'm asking is, what do we need to complete it? Into, like, are we looking for pictures? Is that what we need?
Well, I think if we want to put pictures on our markers, I think we have the flexibility. It's the write-up for the markers, so the accurate history documentation, the purchase of said markers, and actually placing the markers is what we need to do.
Yeah, so our stumbling block right now is a picture and doing our research so we get our dates and stuff right. So,
Yeah, I know the railroad came through in 1874, whether the post or the train station was erected at that time, or maybe 10 years later. I don't know where that information is. Yeah, I searched everything that I have access to, other than going to the Northwest Room down in Tacoma. Online, they don't have any information. They didn't even have any pictures.
yeah, but they don't have everything digitized yet, so,
No.
okay.
These pictures that I had of Max Frolics. That's the train station in the distant.
Yeah, way back there,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Hopefully we can do
that's
better than
from
that.
The Northwest Room. That's a Lakeview picture. That was from the Northwest Room. And what was the other? Max Frolics.
Yeah, we don't need maxes yet.
No, that would be another whole marker situation in the future. Hard to get information on any of these things other than what the pictures say, and they don't give you much as far as the date, even the location. And I have a lot of old Tacoma phone books, and these are all listed in the phone book. However, they did not include street addresses in those days. They just said Lakeview. And so that's kind of a dead end, but at least there's confirmation that they existed at a certain period of time.
So in terms of next steps for this body, is it reasonable for next meeting for members to assist on some like draft write-ups for some of these markers?
Or at least make a trip to the Northwest Room and do some research.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take some vacation, so we'll have some time.
Well, I have a write-up for the Chinese expulsion
Okay.
and the source material. The newspaper, Tacoma newspaper article talked about it. I don't remember the dates of when that happened. I know where the train station was, but I don't have any information on when it was built. And I don't know exactly when it was torn down. I think it was torn down during cityhood. So there may be a city file on the demolition that could be explored, and there may be some historical material in that file.
Okay. Is that something that can be shared with staff so we can distribute to the entire board, Mr. Chair?
Sure.
Appreciate that, sir. Well, with that, I think we have some next steps in preparation for our September meeting, unless I misunderstood, or Mr. Chair or board members.
I think so. Anything else, Don?
Well, if whoever would like to help can see what kind of research they can come up with. And I will make an attempt to go to the Tacoma Library and weed out more information. I'm sure that we can do that by next month's meeting and at least have some viable information. I did leave a copy of in our last minutes, Jennifer Schreck was going to research the material that was taken from Pierce College to the Burke Museum. I'm leaving an article from the Tacoma News Tribune, January 23rd, 1986. And it talks about scientists dig for elusive artifacts from the original Fort Steilacoom. However, Mike Avey, who was the archaeologist at Pierce College, did digs all over Lakewood. And I'm sure while he was alive, he was involved in every kind of artifact recovery or knew about. And I think the 62 boxes of artifacts that came from Pierce College to the Burke Museum after he died has lots of things that I believe ought to be, at least a few of them anyway, ought to be displayed within Lakewood in our own museum. And some can be displayed here in the city hall. I have exhibits in the lobby of the city hall that cover the bird school dig, the Fort Steilacoom, when they dug the sewer through the Fort Steilacoom Park along next to Steilacoom Boulevard. I spent a long time getting permission from the Washington State Historical Society, or not society, the manager of the archaeological activities for Washington State. He was at the time, he was from Lakewood, so he knew what that was about. I had to get permission from the Bureau of Land Management, who owned the land at the time. Went through a long trap line to get permission to get out there and dig. And I was going to dig, I did dig between the flags that the surveyors left where they were going to dig the ditch for this huge pipe that goes out towards Steilacoom. And that's what I did do. So there are artifacts on display in the lobby. There's perhaps a few that I still have that were kind of not significant enough to display. So that's where we are on trying to get things displayable in Lakewood. There are a lot of artifacts, or not a lot, but a few artifacts from Lakewood that are in the Lakewood Museum. And most of those are things that I found or dug and exhibited, and they're still there.
Roger that, sir.
So within the next month, we can see what we can get for write-ups, additional photos that might be considered. Most of my previous work, you know, I didn't go through and get permission from the Tacoma Historical Society or the Tacoma Library. I took the photos that were available, copied them. They were made into plaques. So I don't know how far you want to go in getting permission for everything we do.
Well, I think we're committed to accurately reflecting history, correct? So
That's
any
correct.
write-ups that we do, pictures that we may incorporate into these markers need to be factually accurate.
Yes. And they're all part of a historical record someplace that was found.
Correct. And correct. You're absolutely correct with appropriate source documentation, right? So if
Yeah.
anybody asked us, we can look at anybody with a straight face.
Yeah. Yeah, I found your pictures.
Yeah, that's right. But with that said, sir, I believe that's the only thing we wanted to connect with the board on as it relates to this agenda item, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So our next item. Find it here.
I think that covers unfinished business too.
There's one.
Let's go to the official record.
Go in the back side.
That's,
But this one. We're at new business.
yes,
This
only.
guy right here.
Okay. I saw it there.
Thank you.
Okay, any unfinished business?
I think that was it.
No new business. Correct?
We better not take anything on. It's
Next
not-
meeting is scheduled for
It's actually scheduled for September 26th.
Yeah,
September.
that's what mine says.
September 26th.
September 26th.
Maybe can we just make a note to return the link in the agenda?
Right, this is my first time trying to do this, and so I thought that it was all accurate. So,
I don't think it's necessarily anything that had to do with you, because it happened in the past too.
right,
So
Yeah,
data-
like
I
the
don't know.
number that they have is just wrong.
It's not only the number, it's the link and the number. didn't work.
and
Agreed. I've received invalid meeting ID when I try to log on.
right.
Right.
Karen and Catherine, I did email you a snapshot of what it looks like so we can troubleshoot.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, the next, was this my, yeah, that was my copy, or is it your?
That was mine, and
Oh.
the next meeting is September 26th.
Yeah,
Okay, we got our marching orders. There's my list. Okay, is there any other items we need to discuss tonight?
None for me, sir.
None for me.
Okay, hearing none,
none.
all those in favor of adjourning tonight? Or
Move
take
to
a motion for
adjourn.
adjournment?
I'll move to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn.
Aye.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Thank you, everyone. I hope you have a great evening.
Thank you.
So did you want me to run upstairs really quick and make some
Yeah.
copies?
This is,
Is there a copy machine down here, Karen? Yeah.
this is a list of
The marker list?
markers.
Okay, perfect.